Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. Recently I took my 2006 Ford F-150 through the automated car wash. As the rotating brushes did their job, I heard a sound like something breaking on the roof, but coming out the backside I thought everything was okay. That is, until I went to dry off the truck. My aged roof light plastic cover had been shattered, so I picked up all the pieces I could find, took them home and laid them out like a jigsaw puzzle, and super glued them back together. I taped any gaps and missing pieces to waterproof it until I could order a replacement. Let me show you how that went, so let's get after it. I ordered the replacement light assembly through Amazon and it arrived 2 days later. I'll post a link to it in the description section of this video. Now this OEM model has 3 incandescent bulbs shown here with a single lead coming off all 3 and an OEM plug. I could have ordered the LED version, but it had 3 separate leads that would need to be cut and combined into one, plus the plug tips don't match my truck model. Removal of the old light assembly involves use of a Phillips screwdriver on the screws on either end, then removal of the clear cover first in my case, then pulling up on the base, which may be stuck after years of use. Not seeing the wiring harness plug right away, I decided to remove the individual bulbs so I could set the old assembly aside. This is an excellent time to clean up and remove the old gasket material. In preparation for replacement, I dry fitted the included gasket, one side of which is adhesive. Once satisfied with the fit, I removed the adhesive cover and fit and pressed the gasket into place. Since the wiring harness plug was not readily visible, I decided to use my spring-loaded grabbers to reroute the wiring bundle to provide me with more slack. Then maybe I could find the end of the plug. But even with maximum slack, the plug connection is still nowhere to be found, so I pulled out my bore scope in hope of shedding some light. I found the plug connection just inside the roof opening, but I can't get to it from the top side. It appears the only way to access the connector is by pulling down on the headliner. I don't like this. The connector is shown here only by tucking my camera around the edge of the headliner, as I can't reach the plug connector with my hands. Shown here is where the wires come through from the roof. Removal of more headliner and panel clips is not the plan I wish to take, so back on top I'm examining the wires to ponder my options. It appears we have one blue wire, 3 black ground wires that feed into one, and a green wire. That matches what I see here at the plug of my new light. Leaving myself a bit of extra wire to work with, I began cutting loose the old plugs. Using my X-Acto knife, I'm going to cut back on the outermost sheathing of the new light harness to expose the wires I'm going to tap into. Now, one type of connector I can use is known as a suitcase clip. It has an outside tunnel typically used for the existing wire and an inside tunnel with a stop for the new wire. This guillotine type blade is then pressed into both wires to secure the connections and the cover snapped into place. Let me demonstrate. While this connection is usually reliable, I like to help it along a bit. For the new wire, I like to trim off a bit of the end and fold it back over itself so the naked wire is exposed to the cutting blade. For the existing wire, I like to expose it as well, like this. Now take some slip joint pliers and squeeze the blade into place. And close the suitcase lid until you hear it snap. So beginning with the green wire, we're going to repeat what you just saw using a suitcase connector. Since there are 3 black ground wires, these can be treated a bit differently. We will tie all 3 together, then add the new ground wire from our new light to the bundle using a wire nut. Be sure to select the size that works for you, as each wire nut size is denoted by a different color. Finally, I'm going to attempt to use a suitcase connector on the blue wire, but things went a bit awry as the blue wire broke while trying to expose it. No problem, we will prep it and use a wire nut instead. This time you'll see me select a blue wire nut meant for smaller gauge wires or smaller bundles. Before sealing things up, I had my wife open the door of the truck to test the light. And also press on the brake pedal. As with any electrical connection, it's a good practice to wrap electrical tape around the wire nut connections. And for good measure, I'll wrap up the suitcase connector too. The wiring bundles are tucked back up out of the way and the light assembly lowered into place. Be careful not to over-tighten these screws on reassembly, as there is a danger of breaking the plastic with too much torque. Note in closing the standoff nature of this thick gasket. I actually like this a lot, as it allows a channel for water runoff. Hey guys, I want to thank you for joining me today, and I hope all your projects are successful. Until next time, this is Dean with Pilot View Productions.